idea is that the Ford 8100, they were fitted with a Bostrom Viking 303 seat. Now those seats back in the 70s were a very, very good seat, very expensive. You know, the equivalent today would be like spending, you know, a couple of grand on a seat, rather than the replacements which you can get for, you know, £300–400. But you can see where that cost went because they're so well made. Now a lot of the modern ones are a lot smaller, so you know they can fit a lot more machines, a bigger variety of machines, and they've got obviously cheaper manufacturing processes and whatever, so they're using plastic bushes and stuff like that. Well, these Bostrom seats are just, I mean, overkill, but then again, are they 40 years on and they're still, you know, doing a job in a lot of tractors? So it has seen better days. However, that's just the cushions and the fabric. The actual seat itself, the suspension and that, is really good. A lot of these get really, really loose and you sort of rock them and roll them from side to side. But this one is actually very, very good and really comfortable. That said, I want to have a good look at it, clean it down, and then lubricate where it needs to be done, and one or two pieces will have to be replaced, and then we can have a look at the actual cushions and fabric itself. Right, so the first thing I want to try and do here is clean all this up, and as I said, then start having a look at the actual suspension itself, the runners and bits like that. But as I said, first thing we've got to do is clean it all up. Right, well, that's getting most of the main crap and rubbish off. Then we can carry on, just clean it down a little bit better. Right, now we've cleaned it down a bit on these actual arms that allow the seat to, you know, rise and fall. That one's all right, but this one I've noticed some wear in it. So what I'm going to do is just take the bolt out and see if it's a bush or if it has actually worn the steelwork, in which case we're going to have to make something up, bush it, you know, sleeve it and do it that way. Now you can see there's less and less pressure actually on the seat, so hopefully we'll be able to draw this out now. Right, there's a piece in the middle there. Yeah, that has worn that. So you can see here, you can see that has worn up into there. That's that out then. Good. Well, on the upside, although that elongated and dropped down and wore into the bush, it didn't actually go into the arm itself. So, because I thought I was going to have to weld that up and then, you know, drill it through to sort of build that all up, but it hasn't done that, so that's a good thing. You can see here how that's worn. So if I can turn it like that, the camera, there, look, you can see how that's worn right in there. Just score it a bit, and then I shall just fill it in with weld, and then I shall then just carefully grind it back down so it's round and clean all this up. Just one point of order, if you're working, you know, like grinding or cutting or anything like that, you've seen all the posters about, you know, about make sure you're wearing your safety goggles or your specs and stuff like that. Guys, we all know that safety specs and goggles are for wimps. And, you know, all my sort of work and life, I've sort of got away with it and not worn them, because I'm, you know, double hard, ain't I, you know. I was double hard up to the point where I got a piece of metal, only just a tiny speck, went into my eye, and I sort of rubbed it and thought, well, bloody hell, that's out, that's all right. 5 days later, with my eyes constantly streaming, the pain was absolutely excruciating. Couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything about it, and it needed somebody actually to, you know, go in properly and wash it out. And even then, after that, it's still sore. It was a close call. So, like I say, you hear also, you know, you only got one pair of eyes. Well, you have only got one pair of eyes, and I quite enjoy, you know, seeing the the sky, other people, animals, aircraft, tractors. I enjoy all that, and I do need my eyes to do that. So, all joking aside, it doesn't matter if people say, "Oh, what are you wearing them for, Bill?" Because I actually like my sight. So yeah, goggles or safety specs just to stop the crap, going into your eyes. It is, as I said, you haven't got to go uptown in them. You haven't got to go drinking in your. I think some people do wear these for drinking, Anyway, but you haven't. So that's the whole point. Just as I said, look after them. You'll be grinding or whatever for 2 or 3 minutes. Well, for 2 or 3 minutes, just wearing those and looking a bit of a plum is better than not looking at anything ever again in the rest of your life. All right. Just to give it a bit better finish on the actual shank there, and that should do it. Okay, well look, we've got the bits back at last, and I want to show you what we've actually done. Then we had the one of the bolts had worn right away, so again we built one of those up and then turned it down, so we get that, because again they're not just available on the shelf. So there it is. So we've done that, pressed that in there, so you can obviously see that that's smaller diameter on this side, had to be turned down to go through the steel, then it opens up, and then we had to make a phosphor bronze bush and turn that down. So there's a collar on that end, as you can see, a wider collar, and then it narrows down to that side there. So that, as I said, replaces that, and if I can just find in here, you can see how badly the actual bushes had worn. So and that's not out of the one that's elongated, obviously that's just totally gone. That's out of one of the others, which I think is here. Here it says that one there. So that was in there. And the trouble is, once they get to this point and they then break up, they then wear actually on the metal itself, and then that is what actually happens. So yeah, all well and good. That is back, back together, and we've got that sorted. So we've put bushes in all the others as well, all new phosphor bronze bushes have been turned up to go in there and pressed in. So now we can rebuild it. Go. So that now is all solid, it doesn't rock because there's no play in here. Fantastic. Bit of a clean up, and then now you can see how they slide, and then if you let the spring thing go off, it catches in and then it's locked, and that's your position, depending on how far, far forward or how far back you want your seat. Right then, muckers. So that's the seat suspension unit completed. All the arms and bushings. So we've got to get the damper for the back, as we we said, and then we've got to address the upholstery. What I hope it's done is to encourage some more of you out there to have a go yourself at some projects you've got or you're thinking about getting, and just to show that, you know, you don't need a full all singing, all dancing workshop. You can do it with the, you know, most basic tools really. There'll be times where you haven't got the tools or the machine or the skill even to do stuff. Well, that's where you ask others, and that's the great thing about all this. You know, you get to meet other people and chat with them, and they'll either share their knowledge or help you out. So like I said, you know, because of time and that, I got Sean to do the bushes on the lathe. It wasn't done all with CNC and all that sort of stuff and machines like that. He literally does it how they used to do it on a lathe, and just does it all by measurements and whatever, by eye. And that's just brilliant. So yeah, I mean, it's about sharing. I like sharing this old sort of squid with you guys, and hopefully, say you know, others will share with you, and you can share with other people. That's what it's all about. So there we go. Next time, I think what I want to try and do is do the cab cladding. Now, I've ordered a cab cladding kit from Logan McMaster, and that should be here any day now. As I said, I'm not going to do a factory restoration. It's not going to be a showroom tractor, as you know. It's just an overhaul. I wanted to keep it as much as I can in its working clothes. It's a good cab, so I should just clear it all out, clean all the stuff at the bottom. If there's any signs of corrosion, I'll treat that, you know, to stop anything, you know, progressing any further. But once it's in a good state, then I will fit the new kit, just to sort of tidy it up, because there are parts that have been torn or are missing and whatever. And then the seat can go back in. So that's what we'll probably look at next. And then we've got to do the battery tray. You've got to fabricate one of those because that's starting to go. One of the steps wants some attention. It'll need a full service. We'll check all the oils and look at that. We may even look at some oil analysis and stuff like that. But like I said, I'll keep filming it and share it with you. If you want to see more of this sort of stuff and the other sort of kit we're playing around with, then all you've got to do is subscribe, and also press the little bell, which YouTube will tell you, will alert you every time I put up a new video. That's not really how it works. YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, maybe decide that maybe they will, maybe they won't let you know. It's just how it is. But press it and see what happens. Who knows? But it's fairly hit and miss, to be honest. Anyway, we shall see what happens once this cab cladding kit arrives, and we will go from there. Do well.